Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my UK Student Visa series. It is that time of the year when a lot of you will be applying for your UK Student Visa for your courses beginning later in the year or early next year. If you are one of these students, then you need to watch the following presentations. To cover the various aspects of the visa application process in sufficient detail, I will deliver a series of focused presentations, each dedicated to a specific topic. Together, these presentations will guide you through the complete UK student visa application process, including the required documents, visa fees, the step-by-step application process, identity and biometrics, practical tips to strengthen your application, and some of the most common reasons for visa refusal. Later on, I will also talk about dependent visa if you are bringing a member of your family with you, and the services offered by VFS and their part in biometrics and identity verification. By the end of this series, you will have a clear roadmap for successfully applying for your UK student visa, along with the knowledge and confidence to complete your application independently without the assistance of an agent. Ideally, you should begin preparing your visa application 3 to 6 months before your course start date. This will give you sufficient time to gather the required documents, attend your biometric appointment, and deal with any unexpected issues that may arise during the application process, including any queries from UKVI. Provided all your documents are complete and in order, typical visa processing times are 3 to 4 weeks when you are applying from outside the UK and 8 to 10 weeks when you are applying from within the UK. However, please note that the processing times can vary depending upon individual circumstances, application volumes, and your country of residence. It is therefore advisable to apply as early as possible and avoid leaving your application until the last minute. Welcome to part 1 of my UK Student Visa application series. Before you start your visa application, it is important to understand exactly what documents you will need and how much the application will cost. One of the biggest mistakes students make is starting the online application without having all the required documents ready. In this presentation, I will walk you through the documents you will need and the fees you will have to pay, and a few practical tips to help make your application process as smooth as possible. I strongly recommend gathering all documents before you begin. Having everything prepared in advance will save you time and help reduce the risk of making errors, which may lead to unnecessary stress, visa delays, or even refusal. Let's begin by looking at the essential documents you will need before submitting your application and the fees. First and foremost, you will need a current and valid passport. This is the most important document for your UK student visa application. If possible, make sure your passport remains valid for the entire duration of your course. Renewing your passport while studying abroad can be time-consuming and stressful, so it's best to avoid that situation if you can. The second most important document is your CAS letter, which stands for Confirmation of Acceptance for Studies. A CAS letter is an electronic document issued by your university or educational institution once you have accepted an unconditional offer and met all the necessary admission requirements. It can take from a few days to a few weeks to get it, depending upon your institution and the application volume. This is what CAS looks like. Your CAS contains a unique reference number, details about your course, tuition fee, and other important information that will be used during your visa application. Before submitting your visa application, make sure all the information on your CAS is accurate, including your name, passport details, course title, and course dates. Even small errors, for example, spelling your name differently from your passport, can cause delays in processing your application. Without a valid CAS number, you cannot apply for a student UK visa, so this is one of the most important documents in the entire process. How do you get a CAS? Obtaining your CAS is a straightforward process, but there are several important steps involved. First, you need to apply for admission to your chosen university and receive an unconditional offer. This means that you have met all the academic and admission requirements set by the institution. Once you have accepted the offer, most universities will ask you to complete the CAS process through their online portal or CAS management system. Some universities use platforms such as CAS Shield or similar systems to collect and verify the information required for issuing your CAS. You can check the progress of your application online once you have set up an account with them. As a part of this process, you will typically need to upload documents such as your passport, academic certificates, and evidence of your English proficiency. Your education provider will already have most of these documents and information that you submitted at the time of your university or college admission application, so you will just need to verify them that they are current, correct, and valid. Many universities also conduct a precast interview. The purpose of this interview is to confirm that you are a genuine student, understand your chosen course, and are prepared to study in the UK. The interview is usually conducted online and may include questions about your educational background, career goals, and reasons for choosing the university and course. There are two optional documents that some of you will need to submit. One is called ATAS certificate and ATV certificate. I will talk about these towards the end of the documents part of this presentation. How much does it cost to get a CAS letter? Some universities may not charge you anything. Others may charge you from £25 to £100. You also need to deposit a part of your tuition fee, which can vary from £2,500 to £5,000. In some cases, you may be required to submit your full tuition fee. The third important requirement is providing evidence that you have sufficient funds to support yourself during your studies in the UK. The UK government wants to ensure that you can pay your tuition fee and cover your living expenses without relying on public funds. You can provide this evidence by a personal bank statement, parent or guardian bank statement, official sponsorship letter, government or scholarship sponsorship documents. Another very important rule is the 28-day requirement. The required funds must remain in your bank account continuously for at least 28 consecutive days before you submit your visa application. Make sure the closing balance on your bank statement meets the required amount. How much is that? I will talk about this in a moment. And the statement is recent when you apply. However, if you have already been living in the UK with valid immigration permissions for at least 12 months, you are generally exempt from providing financial evidence as a part of your student visa application. Always double check the latest financial requirements before applying, as these amounts can be updated by the UK government from time to time without any prior notice. The amount you need to show in your bank statement is the money to pay your outstanding course fee, which will be given in your CAS letter. You also need to show that you have £1,529 per month for up to 9 months for courses in London, or £1,171 per month for up to 9 months for courses outside London. Another important requirement for your UK student visa application is providing your English language ability. The UK government and your university need to be satisfied that you can understand, speak, read, and write English well enough to successfully complete your course. There are several ways you may be able to meet these requirements. You may already qualify if you have a school qualification obtained in the UK, a degree awarded by a UK university or higher education institution, including overseas campuses, a degree from an institution where the courses are taught and assessed in English, subject to university and visa requirements. If you do not qualify through your previous studies, you will need to provide evidence through an approved English language test, for example, IELTS. So before applying, make sure your test results are still valid and they meet both the university's admission requirements and the visa requirements. Strong English language skills will not only help your visa application, but will also make your academic and social experience in the UK much more enjoyable and successful. In some cases, you may also need an ATAS certificate as a part of your UK visa application. ATAS stands for the Academic Technology Approval Scheme. It is a security clearance certificate required for certain postgraduate courses, especially in sensitive subjects such as science, technology, and engineering. The purpose of ATAS is to ensure that the knowledge you will gain during your studies is not used in any way that could be harmful to international security. So not all students need an ATAS certificate. It depends on your course, level of study, and subject area. Your university will clearly state in your offer letter or CAS letter whether ATAS is required. If it is required, you must apply for it before submitting your visa application because your visa cannot be approved without it. The ATAS application is done online and is free of charge, but it can take several weeks to process, so it is important to apply early. In short, ATAS is an additional security clearance for specific courses and only applies to certain students. Another document you may need for your UK student visa is a tuberculosis test result. You are required to provide a TB test certificate if you are from a country or a region where TB screening is mandatory for UK visa applications. See the link in the description for the list, which has over 100 countries. You will also need to take the test if you have lived in one of these listed countries for more than 6 months, even if you are originally not from these countries. The TB test must be taken at a UK Home Office approved clinic in your country. A normal medical report is not accepted. It must be an official TB certificate issued by an approved center. If your result is negative, you will receive a certificate that you must include with your visa application. If the test shows signs of TB, you may be referred for further medical evaluation before your visa can be processed. Let's now look at student visa application fees. You will need to pay a visa application fee of £558 in the following circumstances. If you are applying for a student visa from outside the UK, extending your student visa from within the UK, or switching to a student visa from another eligible visa category within the UK. The visa application fee is payable at the time you submit your online application and is separate from any other charges such as the immigration health surcharge. Let's now look at the immigration health surcharge. The immigration health surcharge gives you access to the UK's National Health Service during your stay in the UK. The current charges are £776 for each full year of your visa, or £388 for a period of up to 6 months, or £776 for a period of more than 6 months and up to 12 months. The amount you pay will depend on the length of your visa. The surcharge is calculated automatically as a part of your application, and you will be required to pay it at the time you submit your visa application. If you carry a European health insurance card, then you may be able to get a refund of the immigration healthcare surcharge. That is all I'm going to cover in this presentation. I hope you now have a clear understanding of the documents required for your UK student visa application, as well as the fees you will need to pay. In the next presentation, which will be available shortly, I will guide you through the visa application process step by step, highlighting the information you will need to complete your application successfully. If you need to get in touch with us, please use this email address. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next presentation.